كما عودناكم في برنامجكم الأسبوعي برنامج إماراتي. أنا نستضيف لكم خيرة من دولة الإمارات العربية المتحدة، ولهذا الأسبوع نستضيف الأنس ريكو والسيد دينيز. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
At the first, welcome to EMARATI program, and it is our pleasure to visit your amazing office today, and we would like to know more about you and about the ongoing services. Let us start with the woman, always woman first. Is Vriko.
I'm Vriko, originally from Hong Kong. I'm a scientist by training, now also as a CEO and co-founder of Archireef.
Great. Let us know more, Vriko, about your background before when you visit what you was doing.
Right. I was born and raised in the countryside of Hong Kong, where we have the concrete jungle, but at the same time we have a beautiful coastline where it was filled with biodiversity. But one thing that as I grow up in the 90s in Hong Kong is that I've also witnessed coral disappearing in just 2 months. So coming to Abu Dhabi with our project, sometimes I feel like we came from a future where we have made a mistake and we are ratifying it. And now that we're coming in with a solution that we can potentially, where we can conserve nature and biodiversity while we're developing the city at the same time.
Yeah. Deniz, let us know more about you, from where you come and why you come to Arabic Heights.
Sure. I was part of the journey in Hong Kong as well. I'm Turkish originally, but spent most of my life in Hong Kong. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer at Archireef, so my role is more related to finding ways in which products like this that are more nature-based can be promoted with larger clients, larger businesses, and make them understand why it is so important for them to invest in the ocean and in marine ecosystems.
To the United Arab Emirates after the establishment of our company in Hong Kong. Then 2022 we come to Dubai, right? Let us know, when you come to Dubai, how do you see the opportunity?
So at the very beginning, we were approached by ADQ, a sovereign wealth fund in Abu Dhabi, where we were looking into how nature can be part of the country's development. So at the very first, our solution was featured on the World Economic Forum and CNN. That gave us the international exposure. And then essentially it's just this product where we can deploy it in desertified water and brings coral and accelerate coral recovery. So at the very beginning, ADQ approached us, and then we made a visit back in late 2021. We spent 2 weeks here trying to understand the ecosystem here and understand the opportunity that the UAE can offer, in particularly starting in Abu Dhabi, where we get to know the local stakeholders. And 3 months later, we took all the capital that we had back then and decide that Abu Dhabi is the place where we see that as the launch pad for the company and the technology.
Deniz, let us know more about the process when you established the company, how it was. Do you find any difficulties, or it was easy to establish a business?
I think it was very easy. It was very quick. I think the system is built for growth. The system is built for an international audience. So I think we coming in as an international company initially, we very quickly felt home as well. Not just in terms of how easy the systems were to use, how easy it was to access ministries, for example, to have conversations at a very, very ground level with the Ministry of Economy, with Abu Dhabi the Abu Dhabi Economic Development Department, for example. So there was a lot of government entities that always wanted to make things easy. And I think establishing the company then became a very, very easy job. And when we compare it to other parts of the world where we tried this, it was a very smooth process.
Happy for you. And what's the strategy of your company?
So the strategy is now to make people understand that investments in nature can be both valuable and beneficial to nature as well. You can, on the one hand, you can make money, you can generate profits from nature, but but at the other hand, at the other end of the spectrum, you could actually, benefit nature in and of itself. So in places like Abu Dhabi, for example, where there's a strong connection to the ocean, it's very important to find this balance between doing business and doing well for nature. And I think if you look at the establishments here, like the Environment Agency Abu Dhabi, for example, that balance between business and nature is really beginning to shape up. So for us, I think the ambition is to communicate that message better, to work with these authorities and companies and make sure that we make our contribution to this, very strongly ocean connected community as well.
And if we would like to know more about product, let us know more about the product, how it's working, and what you are providing on.
Maybe a little bit of background. After me, myself and many others that witnessed coral disappearing in urban cities, back then we actually started with traditional methods like concrete blocks or metal rebars or even cable ties just to put corals on sand. It didn't work. After 2-3 years, the survival rate dropped down as low as 20%. Wow. And it's painful because you spend so much time growing the coral babies and they couldn't survive in long term. So that failure, a lesson learned, led us to think about what are the innovations that we need to make sure that corals have the stability to survive in long run and have that resilience. So that came to the ideation behind this world first 3D printed reef tiles, essentially function as the roots for corals, just like tree would have their roots for stability.
And if we talk also about the product which you are made 100%, we can see?
Yes.
Yeah. Producing also out of it?
Yes.
Yeah, for the world as well, yes.
Really?
Yeah, so at the very beginning, we were using a research scale production, almost like a prototyping 3D printing arm at the university. And now this is also one of the reasons why we moved to Abu Dhabi, moved our operational HQ to Abu Dhabi, is that we see the opportunities and the talents and also the facilities that we can have to make the product available, accessible to the world, but also with quality that we can produce and made in the UAE.
You have a huge capacity, we can say.
Yeah.
What's the production?
I think it's now at an industrial level. So we produce at an industrial level. We don't just produce the original product that we brought into the UAE. We've actually invented new products in the UAE and launched them with partners in the UAE. So we're developing production, we're developing patents, IP, new innovations, etc., all from this facility. And we're now beginning to scale up the facility. So we'll increase the space over the next 6 to 12 months. And we'll have multiple spaces in Abu Dhabi as well. But our production hub for the world is in Abu Dhabi. So we do it from Abu Dhabi to the world, essentially.
So we need the creative and active teams, but as to know about the team work.
It's a mix. So we have, you can almost imagine it as like one of the very few companies in the world where you have scientists, engineers, architects, and business people working together on the same solution. So we need a large group of scientists who understand the ocean, who understand marine ecosystems in particular. They need to work with engineers to figure out if what they are actually proposing can be applied in a production capacity. And they then need to work with an architect who then designs the overall space and applies lessons learned from the land to how it could be applied in the ocean. So you bring these disciplines together. It's very multidisciplinary. And then you take that to the market with a team that's commercially minded. So it's a very unusual, but very, very functional group of people that are in Abu Dhabi for us.
So you product it's there before when you got any order?
Yeah, it was a research product at the very beginning for these 3D printed reef tiles. We commercialized and industrialized the production here in the UAE, but at the same time, this facility also allows us to incubate ideas into reality, like just in 1 year as well. One of the second products that we made is actually this eco seawall panels designed for intertidal infrastructure. So that's also another thing that we, from start to finish, really is a research product that was born out of the year.
So what the process here and how the timeline to deliver the product?
So normally we take in an order from a client, and then depending on the timelines, typically within 3 to 6 months, if it's a product that already exists, within 3 to 6 months, we deploy the product for the client. and then we go into monitoring phase. So for many years after we deploy the product, we actually monitor the product using AI technologies, computer vision, photogrammetry, a lot of very modern and cutting edge technologies. But when it comes to the production facility that we're in right now, the process is very simple. We get an order, we play back a timeline of delivery, and within 3 to 6 months, usually every client that we get, whether it's in the UAE or in neighboring countries, from here, for instance, we've already serviced clients in Hong Kong, in Singapore, in Abu Dhabi, in the UAE generally, as well as in Saudi Arabia. So it depends on the location as well, and the timelines are typically 3 to 6 months. If it's a new product, completely from scratch, we typically need about 18 months to build for purpose. So some of the clients that we work with come to us and say, we have this problem. Can you help us address this problem? So we create a product for that problem and register an IP and a patent, and then we deliver it to the client. So that often takes about 18 months.
So the important part to build a strong relation with our client, to build a strong trust also with them. How will you build that?
Yeah.
I think it's a case of regular exchange. So we are very open. We don't prescribe anything to the client. We never say that this is how it has to be. We need to also look into the client's problems. One of our leading partners here, the Environment Agency Abu Dhabi, I think is very helpful in this, because they already have a huge landscape of people that they work with in the UAE, and they have a good understanding of what these businesses need anyway. So in collaboration, we can always deliver the right type of service and the right type of product for them. But it's always about open communication, regular exchanges, and we don't say it has to be this way. We are always happy to be flexible and make changes.
And after the service, how you support them?
So we support them with reports. Yeah, we monitor anything that we install for them. We deliver reports to them that they can then, for example, log with frameworks that are globally accepted. The United Nations, for instance, has frameworks. Other institutions like the IFC, for example, has frameworks. We support them by making sure that what we have in the water or at the coast can be reported about in the right way. And we deliver those reports to the clients.
I saw behind you certificates and awards. Let us know about the most certificates you put it for the company.
Yeah, I think it's a mix. So in 2024, for example, we won Make It in the Emirates as the leading solution in additive manufacturing. We won the MENA Green Building Awards for our seawall panels in collaboration with 80 Ports Group, for example. We've won a number of awards that relate to the reef tile in particular that you'll probably have in some of the photos. The reef tile has won awards like a gold medal at the Geneva Inventions Day. It's a globally recognized inventions conference. But yeah, these are some of the awards that have been won by products. But as a company, we've also recently received the Sheikh Khalifa Excellence Award. I think that's the one that we're probably, thank you so much. Yeah, that's the one we're probably most proud of at the moment, because it's close to home, and it's not many that are recognized. So we understand it feels like the work that we put in has been recognized and accepted.
Eco-friendly sustainability is very important to take care about the space that Earth. So let us to know more about how you invested on and how to support the sustainability.
If I can to echo on what Deniz already said a little bit earlier, I think when it comes to nature, it has always been siloed and externalized, where not that many direct investment are put in nature and let alone ocean. Where we see the opportunities here is not just about Abu Dhabi being the global hub or the enabler. It's really about the stakeholder alignment, where we are seeing that public-private partnership is so strong here that it is a huge opportunity for us to put money in our mouth, but also making real impact in the water. So to echo on what Deniz said earlier, the fact that EAD and MOK has been around, they have been around to build a history and understanding the ecology of what the ecological history of the UAE we have here. And that served the baseline for us to understand that's the root problem and what are the intervention and innovation that we can put in place to make sure that we preserve these nature capital as we go along. So I think all of that together is answer your question directly, is that that's the opportunity that we see, but also the future that we're seeing, that this collaboration, this public-private partnership model is really what we see as the future of ocean investment and blue economy.
As you mentioned, you're using a lot of technology, artificial intelligence, all that, which is very important also to use it. But let us know how you invest on it and how you see its head forward, and what we can say, how we can save more of time and the definition.
Yeah, I think we listen to the researchers. The way we invest in the space is by listening to the insights that the researchers deliver. We ourselves have a fairly large team of scientists. But beyond that, there are a lot of scientists across the UAE, for example, who have important knowledge, who have important findings. So that's one of the feeders for us for innovation as well. So when it comes to changing our production approach, our innovation approach, or how we build something, for example, we get a lot of that from the audience here. And I think it's always a case of having an open mind and having a regular exchange with the audiences that exist. So in a typical sense, that is NGOs, for example, the government entities that already exist, charities, people who are scientists and in the space. A lot of the universities in the UAE, for example, are very beneficial in that sense. So it's all about that regular exchange, and from that we can then generate changes in our technology. We could maybe find a challenge that's so difficult to solve, let's say for one university, that we then invent a technology or bring a technology to market and look at what technologies are available maybe in other spaces. How does an AI software company solve a certain problem? Can we use that type of technology and apply it to the world of nature? And I think we get that knowledge often from the universities, from the NGOs, from the government entities, etc.
Even which happen always in Dubai, like in the expo, that's how it's here to reach to the out of UAE and to win the strong with other countries also.
I think to echo, to build on that, I think from the inception and the fundamental scientific approach to the fact that we have all the talents to making it a reality, but also in combination of the legal enablers, the authorities here, but also the leading business leaders. Because most of the time, again, when it comes to nature market, it's still a very nascent market where we need the industry players to be the first one to adopt the solutions and to establish this industry's best practice. So I think in that sense, it's not just about the product exporting from this part of the world, but it's also about the practice and demonstrating how global business leaders can make a real contribution to the oceans.
And I think that, to your question about events, I think events contribute to that. So with the events, we have a showcase, but if you pay attention to the events that are taking place in the UAE, they're very interesting for us because there are a lot of events that relate to nature. You have IUCN conference at the end of this year, for example, hosted in Abu Dhabi. You had COP28 in Dubai. So these are events. Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week comes around every year. And if you see Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week in particular, I participated in 2022. And when I went back in 2024, you already see this huge growth, a lot more interest, a lot more people. So it has helped I think it has helped to do two things: to put us on the map for anybody abroad, but it also to put UAE products on the map for anything abroad. Because from abroad, it's not often that they think we need to solve a problem in nature, let's look to the UAE. That's now becoming more regular. People are actually looking to the UAE and saying, hey, maybe the UAE can help solve this nature problem. And I think the events have contributed to that, and they're high quality events as well.
What's the future plan for the next bike?
I think from the start, from the very, very beginning, we invent products that aim to be scalable. The future that we want to see is that not only that we can hopefully stop the impact of climate change, stop the water from getting warmer and warmer, but at the same time, regaining what we have lost in the past decades. So we want to see the future that we want to see is that we want to see more collaboration across the sector, from enabling the younger generation's idea and their willingness to contribute to nature, to a product and the solutions where the civil societies come together to make it work. And all of that, I think the future that me as a scientist would like to see is that we want to see more of these collaborations deployed in different parts of the world that really scale across the world, but also bringing that impact in terms of the biodiversity uplift and how much coral that we have recovered, bringing that impact, showcasing that it is a financial return aligning with TNFD, the Task Force on Nature-Related Financial Disclosure. And that would be the future that I see.
Yeah, so, so the goals, I think, in line with what Vriko said as well, I think the goals are both to not as financial. For us, we want to restore 125 hectares of marine ecosystems in the next 5 years. So that's the big mission and the big goal. And with that, we want to combine it with an ability for people to say, if I help, I will make a contribution, but I'll also make income. So that's important for us, for people to understand this is a sector where a huge amount of special jobs can be created. This is a sector where you can have the leading academics in the world concentrated in one place. This is a sector where you can deliver innovation that you maybe can't do in other sectors because they've already been exploited. So this is one space that we really need to work hard on. And I think our mission is to restore as much as we can, to build new capacity in terms of what the employees are that we bring into the market, and then work a lot more closely with the ecosystem locally to make sure that we can be a center for excellence.
Deniz, if you have a message to the people who support you personally, what we receive today, it's like a thanks message for we deserve thanks.
So many people deserve thanks. It's hard to put it in a short sentence, but I'd say here, for sure, the Environment Agency Abu Dhabi, big thanks to them. They've been supportive from the moment we landed in the UAE, and we've always felt the sense of collaboration with them. ADQ, the organization that brought us here, an incredible amount of support. A company that big, being able to see the opportunity in this small space is incredible. And then partners like AD Ports Group, FAB, for example, First Abu Dhabi Bank, one of our latest clients. They've been incredibly supportive in now creating the largest site that we have in the UAE. So yeah, these are some of the companies.
Personally, would trust on deep innovation.
Oh, my co-founder. So I personally have a lot of I'm very grateful to her. So we've had a very open communication in terms of supporting each other in this process. So that's definitely one out there.
Vriko, for who you will say thanks to be?
Wow. What if the answer is not you? It's a lot. It has to be one person.
Sure. Close to me.
I would like to thank Albert Wong. He's the CEO of Hong Kong Science Park, and that was also the incubator for us to bring a research product into reality. He is a huge supporter of our venture, but also me personally believing, because I am a scientist by training, I'm not built for running a business. I had no working experience, so his faith in me and belief in me is constant support.
And for the UAE government and leaders, for the sake of this country, for the technology, which make our life more easy and safe also. For more than 280 nationalities, we get together and support each other. What you would like to say for our smart government and to our visionary leaders who build this gap? High efficiency, high healthcare, safety, support, peaceful, everything we can. What do you like to say to our government and visionary leaders?
I think thank you for being such a visionary. I think what we have experienced being a small team at the very beginning, small company in a very nascent market where nobody knows how to venture and what's the true opportunity and potential behind this. The leadership here saw the potential in us as founders, as the company, as the industry, and fundamentally the root cause of bringing good to nature. I think that faith, that vision is something that is very rare and very unique. And in combination of the talents and everything else that we've been seeing in Abu Dhabi, that's something that's truly unique.
You have something, Deniz?
Yeah, I would say don't stop. To the UAE government, I think don't stop, don't get tired. We're at the beginning of the journey. If you look at the UAE generally over the last 10, 15 years, how much has already been achieved is because nobody got tired. I think we just need to continue at that pace. I think this can be a beacon of hope for the rest of the world. But it can only be that if we don't continue working, if we don't stop the hard work. My message would be keep going and keep going harder. And hopefully, inshallah, we'll as a group come together and make sure that we deliver what we need to deliver.
Thank you, Deniz. Thank you for your time to read the EMARATI program. It was our pleasure to visit you today, and we wish for you all the best and more for all of success, inshallah.
Thank you, inshallah. Thank you so much.